watching tonight. He knows where I stand. I gave him my word, and I'm doing the best I can. I ain't asking for mercy or a borrowed crown, just the strength to keep walking and not back down. I've been before, yeah, I've been low, but quitting's one thing I'll never know. I won't back down, I won't back down, not today, not for money, not for fame. You can doubt me loud, you can push me around, but you won't rewrite my sound. I won't back down, I won't back down. When the lights go out and the truth's found, they'll remember the one who wouldn't back down.
This is our Storied Ministries recovery group. They basically sponsor the group. But this is the second of 12 weeks. We're actually this is our 17th week. We've been at it for 4 months. So we're restarting our recovery, 12-week recovery progression. And that is actually what this week is focused on, is our recovery progression. But this is the new logo that Joey made, or not Joey, Jason made. And I just inverted the colors with it, and it turned out really good. So we thank Jason for that. He said we can use that as, however we want. Last week, we had talked about connection. This was just a standalone, just to kind of reconnect. And that's what we did last week. We didn't record the group last week. We just kind of talked about some things moving forward. But this week we are recording again. And the reason that is we're putting this group together and putting it out on YouTube or wherever for people to be able to watch it, get comfortable with recovery, and then hopefully get in recovery, join with us in this group, or get in recovery in some way, shape, or form. That's kind of our whole goal and focus, is furthering our recovery by spreading it to others. So that was the idea with connection. But this week, I want to start over our 12-week curriculum, for lack of a better word. I don't know what to call it. It's basically just what I put together with the questions for each group and the different artwork that we have for each group. Anyhow, so this week we're going to talk about progression and recovery. We're going to restart this. This is a 12-week deal. It's 3 different parts. Basically, it's the first month is inside. You work on going on inside. Second month is outside, and then the third month is all sides. So it's basically what we look like once we've gone through our recovery and are progressing in our lives. So that being said, the first week is progression. So if you remember, we talked about imposter syndrome and how, in order to progress in recovery, we've got to get past that imposter syndrome, which at the very beginning of this group, putting it together, that's what we thought. We felt like imposters, like, who are we to try to do a group? But really what we found is the group is just about us getting together, discussing a recovery topic, and really just connecting. So the idea, though, behind progression is, what are we going to do inside? Where do we start inside? So if somebody was just coming into recovery, or if they've been in it for 20 years, they need to progress and work on their inside. So that's the idea behind this week. And I'll throw up our question, and then we'll kind of get into some discussion. And I'm not sure if I totally finished off with saying the reason we record this is putting it out there. And then hopefully we want to see this grow into a podcast where we have you guys that are basically come in as a panel and we talk about things. And then we can have people that aren't as familiar can be off screen. They don't have to be on camera and stuff, and they can listen. That way we can put it out on YouTube live, and then people can just jump on and watch it either live or when they're able if they don't want to actually take part. So that's kind of what it's going to build to. Um, and we're going to start this spring, hopefully, going to a couple different locations. We want to go to Columbus, obviously, where most of the group is, and to a park there and do kind of like a cookout, like a family cookout type deal, and see who all comes out. We want to go up to Cleveland area, and then maybe even over to Dayton. I'm not sure yet with that, but we'll also be doing a couple here. Um, we'll also be doing a couple here at a park near me. It's got a place to fish. It's got frisbee golf, a lot of different things, and then some shelters where we can hang out and grill out some steaks before the group, and then we can actually have kind of a in-person and online group where we're talking not only in person but online, kind of like we did last week. Angie was able to come out last week to my house in Cincinnati, and so we kind of did do that last week. We didn't record that group, but we did. We sat and we talked, and it was kind of cool to have someone in person also interacting with the group in general. So it was pretty neat the way it worked out last week, and I appreciate Angie for coming out and hanging. That was much appreciated. We had a good time.
Well, thanks for having me.
After group, what was it? After group, we made some tacos or something. I can't remember. It was after group, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
I think I did it before then. All right, y'all. Here is what we're going to be talking about tonight, and this is just again the first of 12 weeks. This is the inside work for this month that we're going to focus on. But our question is, what does progression look like in your story? That's kind of Storied Ministries or Storied Recovery. That's all it's about. I just want people to learn how to better tell their story in short format, long format, whatever format, be able to tell their recovery story and how they've come through and basically grown as a person, and how they've then become a leader and helped others into recovery, which is kind of what we're building here, is a kind of a network of leaders that are strong, strong in their recovery. It's not just anybody on here. You guys are all focused and really dedicated. But what's progression look like in your story? So that's kind of our discussion. We'll start there, and I'm actually going to go with Angie first. And Angie, if you don't mind, what does progression mean to you in your recovery? What does it look like? What has it looked like? Where you at?
It's honestly, it's looked like baby steps that was leading to nowhere at first, and then yeah, with strength and hard work and dedication, it can pay off. And progression is it can feel like it's not coming, but it does.
Baby steps, huh?
Yes, baby steps, because even the littlest steps matter.
Even them trips to Walmart, right?
Man, oh my goodness. And he's driving me crazy too with it. Oh my goodness. Yes. But at least I can go to Walmart.
Yeah.
I can go where I need to go. Do the things I need to do, get the things I need to get. And it's just kind of like back to living life normally. And that's a big step that you don't see coming, but you do.
Yeah, I know in my own personal recovery, I know every time I felt like I hit a wall and just everything is falling apart and nothing's working right, it seems like that's when things will change. The tide will turn, something will happen, and it will change, and I will progress. What about you, Jade? What's your progression look like? I know you got school that you're cramming for and everything. What's your recovery progression like?
Well, I wrote a thing about this whenever I was actually in rehab. And to me, progression looks like growth. And I define growth as making different choices than you made the day before. Because I think that whenever we are in the throes of addiction, part of the problem is we keep making the same choices. We keep picking up the phone to call our dude. We keep going to the corner store to buy a bottle. We keep going back to that fucking destructive relationship. Excuse my French. We keep doing the same stupid stuff that we know is bad for us over and over. And improving that starts with the simplest, littlest thing that's trying something different. That's it. Even if it's not immediately the right choice, or it's not immediately the best choice that we could be making. Like, I didn't go straight to rehab ever. Even when I went the last time that actually stuck, I didn't go straight to rehab. Every time I tried detoxing on my own, or I went out of state, or I tried to block people, or just not leave the house, and somehow the drugs would come to me. Or we'd find an excuse to go back to fucking Ohio and get more dope. Like, oh, we just haven't found a good campsite that we're going to be able to stay at while we detox, so we got to go get another ounce before we can blah, blah, you know. And it's like, eventually I said, you know what? I detoxed. I'm back in Ohio. Before I touch that bowl or even think about it or come into contact with anything, I'm calling a rehab. I'm not going to go. And it's just those little steps, those little incremental changes that we make, like Angie said, baby steps. That's what it is. You just got to start trying to do something different, anything, even if it's not the best thing.
True that. Well, I'll tell you, I'll go ahead. Jason, he called me. He's not going to be able to be here tonight, but I will give him, and it fit right in kind of with the last part of our group, which was, if you remember back to the first one, the very first group was also the progression. We started this. It was a lot along the lines, but it was about chasing purpose. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But Jason, he had first off, he had his daughter's friends came over, so he was playing on. But anyway, he said his daughter was talking to him. They were playing a game with his friends, and she was totally not into it. She hated it, and because it was Pokemon or whatever, and she wasn't into it, and so she just didn't enjoy herself. And Jason brought up the point with her, and it was a really good one that. It's not always about, yeah, the intention is to win this game, whatever you're playing at the time. The intention is to win. That's what you want to do. But the actual purpose of getting together to play the game is not just to win. It's about fun. It's about getting together to enjoy yourself with your friends. And, that's what he wanted to bring up the point that the goal, again, our goals are to be achieved. We want to achieve our goals, but sometimes we don't. And we forget the whole thing is chasing those goals, or the actual pursuit is kind of the purpose, the growth and pursuit. And so it's kind of cool the way he reframed it and just brought it up with his kid. And from that, I'll give you a little quote here. It says, "Don't ruin purpose by trying to achieve the goal. Don't ruin the whole purpose of what you're doing just by trying to achieve the temporary goal of the moment. Keep the purpose in your focus and in your mind." What about you, Delina? Are you able to talk now, or she's gone? Oh, there she is. By the way, it's really cool to see her. She's jumping in.
I was just thinking about Delina right before I got on here, so that's funny. I'm glad to see you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you. It's a little choppy right there at the end. She's froze. There it is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got.
Sorry, my internet's really bad.
No worries.
Let's see. Progression. So for me, when I first went into recovery, it wasn't a baby step. It was a giant step. I decided within like 2 minutes that I had my daughters were like, oh gosh, they were 6 and 4 at the time. And I called my aunt and I go, I need to go to a hospital right now. And she took my kids and I went to the hospital and I never really looked back. But it was a giant, giant step. My, my 8 years is on May 1st. So for me, I just needed to do it and I needed to change. And I was sick and tired of being tired and I paid for and I was completely broke. And so progression, I think it's also about not being stagnant and always trying to better yourself in some way. Kindness, compassion, not judging other people, especially if they're still using or still in the thick of addiction because of how hard it is. Yeah. So that's kind of where I started.
That's good. That's actually kind of the way it worked for me too. And we'll get to Joey. We'll let him finish this little segment. But for me, it was like I got into recovery by just chance because I got some kind of syndrome that basically I wasn't able to walk, so I couldn't get my stuff at all. But it really, during that time, I was able to reevaluate my life, but I was kind of forced into it. And it was just like, no thought. It just happened. It was like right now. But for me, progression is, it looks like me growing as an individual, as a person, and being able to share that and show other people my growth. Not that we need other people when it comes to our growth, but when we are able to kind of gauge our growth by how we are reflected in other people, if you know what I mean. For instance, kind of that positivity that comes out of you when you're growing and becoming a better individual, it is reflected in the people that are around you. They then reflect that positive influence or that positivity. It's cool way that just a different attitude can change the whole scope of things. So for me, progression is just growing as a person and other people being able to see my growth and where I've come from. So with that, we'll move on to Joey. We'll let him finish this segment up here. But Joey, what's progression and recovery mean to you?
What's up, guys? First of all, I want to start out by saying, Daniel, I do not believe it was by chance or a mistake that brought you in recovery, because nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. I believe that all of us that are in this group, and even people that are yet to come to this group, if you're still alive, there's a reason for that. I know that my addiction, I should have been out of here. Should not have survived. And the odds are against all of us. So if you keep getting caught up with something that you see a lot of people around you getting away with, it's because God has a plan for your life. So I just had to start with that. But when you were talking earlier about being new in recovery, it made me, lately I've been really, really thinking about identity and how I built my entire identity around substances. I started using when I was 12 years old. So by the time I became an adult, I had no idea who I was. So my whole identity was built around mood and mind altering substances. So progression, like when I first came in, I was so full of guilt and shame. I had to literally, I was broken down to like being a child, like in a childlike form again. And I had to start from literal scratch because I had absolutely no idea how to sustain a sober lifestyle. Using drugs was normalized in my family. If you were not using something, there was something wrong with you. So, having built my entire identity around that, I really had to start from square one. And for me, the progression of that has looked like, goal setting has been a huge part of the foundation of my recovery. Writing, when I write my goals down, when people write their goals down, they're 42% more likely to achieve them. And like I said a minute ago, the odds are already against us. So I'll take those numbers, any day of the week. Um, and just like I said, learning how to live sober and developing healthy coping skills, facing fear of the unknown, which was terrifying for me. I think that the decision to get sober was one of the scariest decisions I've ever made. Which might sound silly to somebody who's not an addict or an alcoholic, but it was a really scary thing, dude. Like, there was a lot that came along with it. You guys know that me deciding to get sober meant that I wasn't going to be able to have any contact with my mother because we used drugs together. So that was a scary thing for me. Um, Fearing that she would die before I got well enough to try and reach out and help her again. Trying to convince myself that I am not responsible for curing her addiction. Um, Identifying patterns that cause me great harm and figuring out how to change those patterns. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's one of the big things about our progression. It's like being able to know we got control of it, even when we know everything's falling apart. You know what I mean? It's like with me right now in my life, I am like not real far away from being homeless. So it's knowing that I have it and that I can handle it is very important. Having that positive uh, view of myself, being able to look forward and know that I'm able to make it through whatever's coming, because we never know what's coming in our lives. Things can change like that. If we don't,
Dan,
if we don't, are not able to look at it with the right perspective, it can really cause us to completely fall apart. We have to have that belief in ourselves to know that we got it, we can handle it. No matter what comes our way, we're able to get through it. And I think one of the things about people in recovery is they're very resilient. They've been to the dark side, so to speak. They know what real darkness is. So when they start to see light, uh, they run towards it. You know what I mean? So it's like when we start to see the positive progression in our lives, we move forward towards that. And there's not the looking back. It's the resiliency of being from the bottom of the barrel to where we're at. We might not be at the top of the mountain right at the moment, but we are absolutely going to get there if we continue to progress, continue to step forward, continue to move um, in a forward progression. Because if we don't, again, what are we going to do? We're going to fall apart. We're going to completely fail.
Daniel, if you check out WGU, the college I'm going to, they start terms every month, and you can get up to, I think it's like $4,000 a term. The terms last 6 months, but I got like 1,200 back after all my school stuff was paid for. You should qualify for the Pell Grant and stuff if you're not working. and you can use that money to pay your rent. And I didn't do the full like loan I was able to, so you can probably get like close to $2,000 back to pay your rent for a couple months.
Yeah, I went to college to be a teacher, and even then I qualified for the Pell Grant, so I definitely need to go back. I never finished it. I got like 80% of the way through or more, and I never did finish it because I saw what it was. For me, it was like I am not going to teach this crap to kids, and I'm talking like the way that they try to socially structure everybody now. They try to make a bunch of little robots, and I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not going to teach this type of shit.
Well, I said basically the same thing to Tina about being a counselor, was that I don't agree with like most of the modern ways that we do therapy and stuff, and I think that there are a lot of better ways, and I don't know if I even want to be a counselor because of all the restrictions they put on you and the ways that you're allowed to interact with your clients. And what she told me, which I think is also really good advice for you too, is that is even more reason to become a counselor or teacher or any other field that you don't like the way things are currently going, because it's people like that that change it from the inside. Like, you can be that one cool teacher that teaches your kids to think for themselves and, structures your classes a little bit differently, or respects your students more, or takes a more individualized approach, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's worth looking into, but that's just my armchair professional opinion. Also, Joey, did you do something different to your face or hair or mustache or something? Because you look different, but it might be because I've been gone for a long time.
I cut my own hair.
You did fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Daniel, when Jade was talking about being a teacher, it made me think of something I hear Jordan Peterson talk about, like when you have a problem with something, that's your problem. It's an opportunity to do something about it. You know what I mean? I just want to add that in there because I think that insight from Jordan Peterson can be valuable for anybody in any situation.
Yeah, that guy's got some very good insight. I mean, he's a little strange on the strange side, but sometimes it's those people that it really takes to make an impact. But that dude, he's got some really good. He's got a really good perspective and some really good insights. I'm gonna go ahead and share this break song. This is going back to our first group, 16 weeks ago. What's up, Jade?
One real quick. If you have not ever listened to his podcasts, one that you will really like, Daniel, I know you will, is the Jocko podcast.
Jocko, yeah, I haven't heard him. I need to check that out. Yeah, I like that dude. I saw him on Joe Rogan, and he was like, he was talking about the police situation, talking about how they need more training. It was just the way he put it. I was like, that makes so much sense. It's just very common sense. It's not anything special, but it's cool to listen to that guy. Did you have anything, Joe? It looked like did you want to say anything?
Nope.
Go ahead and if I can get this to connect here. Like I was saying, this song goes all the way back to our very first group. So it'll be cool to hear it again, but here it is. right, y'all. So chase versus purpose. That's what I talked about the very first week that we did this ever. And I kind of told the story about how I, as a college umpire, one of my biggest things that I wanted to do was to get it to a TV game that was important, like a championship game that was on television. And I got there, and when I got there, I found out that all the years that I had put in, all the work, all the long nights and long days, all of the driving, everything, none of it really amounted to anything when I got there. I achieved that goal, that monetary goal, that whatever goal. And when I got there, there was nothing. It was like the whole desire went away. And that day I realized that we can chase something our whole entire lives. And at the end, when we get there, we can find out that it was all for nothing. And so when we chase things that aren't of depth, when we chase money or fame or glory or power, control, whatever, if we chase those things, at the end of the day, when you get those things don't matter. Some of the richest people in the world, they got all the money and they found out in the end, it didn't matter. The money did not make them happy. The money wasn't what was the goal in life. They find this, and a lot of times they don't find this out until they're old. And it's really sad to see people go through their entire lives chasing a dream to get there and find out that nothing, it wasn't important. It didn't matter. And so what I realized that day is that it was connecting with others and learning about others. And by learning about others, I would learn more about myself and I could grow. When I realized that and started to view my life and my goals in others versus just some monetary goal that's going to pass, or some fame that may pass, or some control that's going to pass. We have to chase the right things. I think that's one of the biggest things in recovery to find out, is that our real purpose is found in those around us. It's our connections with our loved ones, with our friends, with our co-workers. That's what life is. If we were all alone here and there was no one else, we wouldn't make it very far. And even as people today, we can't make it very far when we completely isolate ourselves. Now, some isolation is very good for us, but too much isolation for a human mind is not good, because all a mind can do then is spin. There is no outward focus at all. It's all inward, and that's not good for us. However, the first week of progression is all about inside. It's all about working on what's inside of us. That way, when we come out, we're better focused and better controlled in how we progress in our lives. So we'll go around a little bit here one more time and just kind of the last word about this week. Again, it's on progression. Next week will be regression, which is the opposite. It is going inside, regressing in to find the things inside us that we want to change. So that will be next week. So we'll go around now and then we'll end it up. Why don't we start with Joey here? Oh, you're muted up still.
Honestly, I don't have much to add to what you just said. It was absolutely phenomenal. And it's funny because today, that was the message that was in church today. Like, the message I got from church today was about connection and about how important it is to build relationships with people. And it's funny because we're in the digital age right now and we have more information available to us than ever before in history, but people are more lonely than they've ever been. And there's got to be a reason for that. You know what I mean? It's because everyone's like this, and without a purpose. Everyone has got their face buried in their phone with no direction or purpose. So I don't know. I think that the most important thing, if I could leave this discussion with anything, I think the most important thing is, in order to have not just success in what we're trying to do, but happiness, joy, peace, fulfillment, aim upward, find a purpose, and just pursue it harder, or not pursue it. If you can give it a quarter of the energy you gave your addiction, you're going to go wherever you want to go. And most importantly, everyone watching this, everyone in this group, whoever ends up seeing this, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I pass.
Yep. No, you're right. What about you, Angie? What you got? Round this thing up on recovery progression.
Well, I just got just kind of like going over what you guys all said. Just don't get lost. Don't get lost chasing after something that you may never end up getting. Because it's that chase that's always going to be the one that, chase you down. Is what like I said, baby steps, small steps, keep going, keep pushing forward no matter what. And keep your goals 100% at the forefront. And just know of what you're pushing for and keep pushing for it. Don't give up, no matter what obstacles come at your way and whatnot. You shake it off and you say you hit like a, you
Yeah,
keep going, keep going, but don't get lost. Don't get lost.
I like that. I wrote it down. Don't get lost in the chase.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a good one. Because I mean, seriously, it's like, let's go back to all the way back to what Jason was talking about with this kid playing those games, like sitting around a table playing table games. If you get lost in the game and it all becomes about a competition, then nobody's having fun. Have you ever played games, board games with somebody, or even a video game where somebody is so competitive they take all the fun out of it for everybody else? Yeah. I don't know how many times I've been a part of it. Like, I don't care what game it is. There's always, seems like there's always somebody that has that competitive attitude that just takes all the fun out of the game, takes all of the fun out. They're getting lost in the chase. They're getting so caught up in the competition that they're forgetting the whole purpose. That's such a good way to put it. Don't get lost in the chase. What about you, Jade?
Oh, I got several things to say. For one thing, I don't think isolation is necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's necessary. I think it all depends on just like the way you're designed it. Like some people can process and integrate in real time. I'm not one of those people. I'm oh, what's the word? When you do a lot of things at once, multitasking. I'm a unitasker. I can only do one thing at a time. But that one thing has every single undivided brain cell of my attention when I do it. So, I mean, those brain cells might be on a crazy train, but
That's a good point though about being intentional about everything. You know, if we we need to go into things intentionally, not to lose focus of the true purpose. You know, again, go back to playing the game. Go into the game, not losing focus of we're here to have a good time. We're here so everybody has fun and enjoys it. Not I've got to win. I've got to beat whoever I'm against. It's such a good point to bring up. It brings everything all the way around, and to really progress in our recovery, that's what it takes. It really takes that consciousness and that intention in what we're doing. And that's why I did say that with the isolation, Jay, because I knew that that your point of that, because you are that is your strong suit is kind of pulling back. In when you regress, you don't regress in a negative way. You just regress to yourself, and you kind of hibernate. Is that what you
Yeah,
hibernate
I'm
socially?
half socialite and half hermit. So half of me gets energized by certain social, like my preferred social interaction with my tribe. I feel great afterwards, but at the same time, I can also tell whenever I need to step back and give myself time to process and focus on my
Use
things.
this song to kind of end us up, and I'll see you guys in music council here in just a couple of minutes. And
Love
Joey,
you guys.
see you next time. Joey, did that come through that email
Let
with?
me check. I'll text you. I'll text you.
Okay, all right,
All
all
right.
right. Y'all have a good
Love
one.
you guys.
Love you.
Ain't no stained glass in this chapel, but I feel you, brother. I see you, sister. Not with my eye, but with my soul. Yeah, this is church. Yeah, we the misfits, the saints in the street. Barefoot preachers with the dust on our feet. Ain't no pews where we sit, no robes when we speak, but the spirit moves strong when the humble get weak.